Hey there! I'm Laura A. Grace, and I am a writer and reviewer here at Beneath the Tangles, and I'm so excited that you are here. We are starting a new video series here at Beneath the Tangles, and it is called The ABCs of Shoujo Manga. Yes, I am so hyped for this. Basically, it's just how it sounds. I am basically going to be spotlighting and featuring different shoujo manga that fit the ABCs. So for A, it'll be only A titles, for B, only B titles, and so forth until we get all the way to Z. And I'm hoping we can make it that far because I'm like, I don't really know any manga that start with the letter Z except for one. So we're just definitely going to be winging it, but it's going to be so much fun. I know just as I've done research for this series, I've discovered some new manga series, and I truly hope that will be the same for you. Today, we are going to be starting with the letter A, and I forgot to mention that my goal for each letter is I'm going to try and find at least 2 manga titles that fit that letter alone, but my goal is to at least do 3 or 4, including 1 digital title. I know digital manga has been getting more traction and more people are reading it, so I felt it was important to also not just spotlight like physical titles, but also digital as well. So hopefully that will be helpful too. But like I said, let's go ahead and kick this off. I am so excited for this series, and we're doing the letter A today, and it is just going to be so much fun. And of course, I had to start or like kick us off with this series for the letter A with Anonymous Noise. I received a recommendation for this series here. It's probably been a few months now, but I recently finished the series and it is everything. I feel it's one of the most underrated shoujo manga series that I know of that is specifically by Shoujo Beat. It is a fantastic and just a very engaging music themed manga that I would highly recommend. It's about our main girl here. Her name is Nino, and growing up she lived next to a young man. His name was Momo, and almost every night they would sing at their like windows together. So it'd be like Nino's window is here, Momo's window is here, and they would sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star to each other all the time. But then one day Momo leaves, he ends up moving, and she's so heartbroken. But a few weeks later, some short amount of time later, she meets another young man. His name is Yuzu, and he is a music composer, and they meet, and so begins their friendship together. Now, mind you, this is all taken place when they're really young. I'm gonna say maybe they're like 7 or 8. And eventually, though, Yuzu ends up leaving too, and Nino is heartbroken all over again. Fast forward to high school, Nino sees Yuzu for the first time, and she's so excited because I'm not sure if Yuzu specifically said it, but I do know that Momo told Nino, he said, "Your voice will be the beacon that leads me to you." So during that time, she just kept singing and just kept practicing. And so when she sees Yuzu again, she sings for him, and so begins their journey. But she is looking for and hoping to find Momo and sing to him, that her voice will reach him and she'll finally see him again. This manga has all of the feels. It is so good. I just could not get enough of this series. It is phenomenal. I really loved our main characters, and their journeys from the beginning to the end was so transforming and so incredible. Each of them grew so very much, and the musical aspects are just mind-blowing. It's like being at a real concert. Granted, it's been a few years since I've actually been at a real concert, but from what I remember and just those feelings and that adrenaline, that excitement, this manga captures it so incredibly beautifully and just so well at that. It is just a very engaging read. I was trying to think of another word outside of incredible and amazing, so I had to really think about that. But I highly recommend Anonymous Noise. It is a very fun series with a lot of great characters and a lot of angst, and definitely has some drama and definitely has some tears, but all of it is worth it by the end, and I was very happy like that with things that unfolded at the end. Definitely recommend this for the letter A, and just please go check it out. It is so good. But let's go back even further and feature an older Shoujo Beat title that I actually just discovered maybe about a month or so ago, and many thanks to my friend Mark because she actually found this series and helped me to collect it because I'd wanted to read it, and long story short, I missed out on the deal and I could not get it. And that series is, bear with me on this title, is Ai Shiteruze Baby. Oh my goodness. I have such a soft spot for manga that center or feature children where they play a huge role in the story. I totally blame Spy Family for this because Anya is everything. And since Anya, I'm like, anytime there is a like kid in a manga, I'm like, I need to read it. And this was definitely the case. Our main guy here, his name is Katakura. He is a playboy. He's 17 years old and he absolutely loves girls and whatnot, but that is where his transforming story comes in because this young girl here, her mother left and her father isn't around, and so his family actually ends up taking her in, but he is the one in charge of taking care of her. Or she becomes his responsibility, and he starts to care for her as family. But the girls at his school aren't exactly happy about that because now he's spending more time with this young girl and not them, and somebody is going to decide it's time to get this little girl out the picture, which doesn't sound good, right? It does not sound good, and take matter in her own hands to get their young playboy back. I have skimmed a little bit of this and oh my goodness, it seems so sweet and so cute. I'm really, really excited to read it. I'm hoping to do that here soon. This video series has definitely bumped it up on my TBR because yes, I mean, I love shoujo manga, and this one seems like such a very good and just well-received story, and like I said, just seems like a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to see how he changes as a character because of this young girl and how he grows to just care for her and take care of her and, you know, hopefully have good things in store for both of them. I would love to hear your thoughts. If anybody has read this, I would love to hear your thoughts on it and what you like just thought of it, and hopefully you loved it. I think this manga cover is very unique because we have so many like different scenes that center around just like this rectangle. You know, usually it's like how say like Anonymous Noises where it's like a glow up of the character on the whole cover usually. But with this one, no, we have all of these different kinds of scenes. Sorry about my light back there. And I just thought that very, very fascinating because I don't know of any other manga covers that are quite like this. So that was really interesting. And I definitely think it shows probably a lot, yeah, about this story. I mean, look how cute they are. I'm like, let that be a foreshadowing here. I really want to just see all of the cuteness. I want more of it. So very excited to feature this one for the letter A and very much looking forward to diving into this. When I do read this, I will be leaving my reviews on Beneath the Tangles for the weekly Readers Corner. So definitely stay tuned for that and just check it out each week because there are a lot of great manga, not just shoujo manga, but manga in general that are featured. And I know personally it has added to my TBR pile. And it's also helped me like make decisions on manga that I was very curious about. And speaking of Reader's Corner, I don't think I saw this one on Reader's Corner, but I do know our very own Tweak has recommended it and has at least recommended it to me and has shared about it in the past, and that is Haru Ride. Oh my goodness. Iosaki Saka, I feel like she's almost known as the queen of shoujo, at least modern shoujo, I should say. She writes such incredible stories. I loved her series, Strobe Edge, so much. Twig also recommended that to me, and oh my goodness, I absolutely loved it. So of course, after I read Strobe Edge, I was like, I have to get this series, and I don't have all of this series. I only have volumes 1 through 3, but I'm very, very excited to start this. I hear it's very, I was about to say dramatic, but that doesn't seem the right word. I sort of forget what it's about. I do believe this girl had a crush on this young man, or they had a relationship when they were younger. He ends up moving away. He comes back, but he's different. She's different, but she still has feelings for him, or those feelings come back as she gets to talk to him again and just get to know him again. I feel like there's a lot of like longing there, and I do believe that there is a love triangle of sorts, and you know, Iosaki Saka does her love triangles very, very good. I have not read her recent release, Let Me Not, but anyway, let's focus on Haru Ride, on the letter A. I love her work so very much. It's just so beautiful, and I always enjoy. I don't know if she has any columns. I haven't seen any columns in this one, but I say I really love her columns. Okay, cool. She does have one. I love reading her thoughts and her characters. They always have such growth, I feel like, from the beginning to the end, and her main characters usually are very sweet, and I just love seeing them be all really cute and just the romance. I really, really enjoy it. I I want to say that yes, I do have high expectations for this series because I enjoyed Strobe Edge so much. I feel like this one is probably her most popular work, and I feel like that's because it does have an anime. I have thought about watching the anime, to be honest, but I'm like, if I watch the anime, I probably won't read the manga right away. And I'm like, I definitely want to read it first. And I feel like these covers, or just this cover alone, is very, very pretty. I mean, all of her covers are really pretty, but this one especially, I really, really love. Ah, I cannot wait to read this. I have like such a high TBR. It's like ridiculous at this point because I definitely have to read this one. And I think this is going to be on my next like big shoujo manga list. It's not really big. It's only, I think, 7 volumes, but I'm like, I really want to know, but I'm like, also, oh, Haru Ride. I'm like, oh my goodness. But I know me, once I read this, I'm gonna want the manga, and I know some of the volumes are out of stock. Iyosaki Saka's work is always I always feel like it's out of stock, I should say, but it's coming back in. But those are my 3 physical titles that I wanted to feature, so let's go ahead and talk about the digital manga. What's funny about this is that I actually forgot that I had already bought this digital manga like a long time ago because I was really intrigued because I was looking for other digital manga and then it popped up and I was like, oh my goodness, like that is definitely a shoujo. And I got it because it has a sports element, which I absolutely love in shoujo manga. I love sports manga in general, but when you have shoujo with sports, oh, I am done for. I am completely sold. And so that digital manga is Albacos Confessions. It's about a young woman, I believe her name is Mayo, and she is sort of a loner in high school, and she ends up like taking a job. I think it's more of a volunteer job at a listening house where people come in and she listens to their problems. She doesn't try to answer or fix their problems. She literally just is paid or volunteers to listen to them. Well, the most popular guy, I don't know if he's the most popular guy in high school, but he is the basketball captain and he is very popular, and he ends up coming and sitting with her. He tells her all of his problems, and she's sort of like, how could you have any problems? You're the basketball captain, you're very popular, you're very attractive. You shouldn't have any problems. And I feel like she more or less tells him this. So begins like this relationship of sorts where they start interacting, and hopefully I think they fall in love. I really don't know because I haven't read it yet, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot I had this in my personal digital manga collection. It seems like a great manga I know I specifically got it for the sports aspect, but like just talking about it again makes me excited because I love when you have, well, I don't know if I should say I love when a couple that they're really awesome about discussing things that are going on in the relationship or just about their feelings. I absolutely love that, but it seems like a really interesting thing where you have a young woman at a listening house, which was interesting enough in itself, but having a young girl who seems to listen more than talk, and then having this young man who I don't really know if he talks more than he listens, but one seeming like they have everything and the other one like not having as much as the other one does. So I say all that, hopefully that made sense, that it just seems like a really interesting premise, and like I said, I just can't believe I forgot I had this. I can't believe I forgot that I had this, but it's definitely going to be bumped up on my TBR as well as all 3, well, these other 2 titles I've already read, Anonymous Noise, but I would definitely recommend all of them, and if you check them out, totally let me know. I would love to, like I said, hear your thoughts on any of these stories, and what are some other titles that you know of that start with the letter A that are shoujo, because I would love to hear what you would choose or what you heard of, and just fangirl about shoujo manga. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!